Hi Nathan. Alright. It's 10 to 8, alright, and you've been arrested on suspicion of being concerted to supply of Class A drugs.
Need you to jump out of the motor for me, please. Just keep your hands where I can see them at the moment. Listen to what my colleagues about to say to you.
In the heart of Britain's financial capital, where Big Ben chimes and trading numbers flash by on stock exchange screens, a vast criminal network has been operating in the shadows. Rather than hiding in alleyways or slums, they operate openly in the heart of the City of London, where smart suits and morning espressos are the norm. For more than a year and a half, a man and his son ran the largest cocaine ring ever recorded in the area, serving more than 10,000 customers and turning over tens of thousands of pounds a week. They used taxis as delivery vehicles and WhatsApp messages as a dispatch tool, turning everything into a well-oiled machine, until the data streams they believed were safe became irrefutable evidence in the hands of the police. The case has not only rocked the financial community, but also left a chilling question. How could a drug empire exist in plain sight? And how many more are still hidden among the glass towers, undetected? Welcome to the documentary about the largest and longest cocaine trafficking ring ever busted in the City of London as of 2025. And remember to subscribe, like to support us with a cup of morning coffee. Thank you. Nathan Samuels, 57, was once an ordinary face among the bustling London crowd. He was no gangster with a scar on his cheek or a tattoo covering his arms. Just a quiet, middle-aged man living in a small flat on Cornwall Road. But it was this seemingly ordinary place that became the brains of the biggest cocaine supply network the City of London had ever seen. Nathan ran the network like a secretive businessman, scheduling deliveries, organizing shifts, keeping meticulous notes on every transaction. No different from any legitimate company, except for the product they sold. Beside him was Matthew Samuels, 33, his biological son. No one knew whether Matthew was involved because of his own ambition or because of his father's enormous shadow. What was certain was that this father-son relationship gave the case a special nuance. It was not just a story of crime, but also a story of family tragedy. Joining the network was Michael Redgrave, 56, a longtime taxi driver. He knows every nook and cranny of the city and has turned his yellow taxi into an invisible means of transportation amid the traffic. He is joined by Aaron Bertau, 43, and Martin Gupta, 38, quiet couriers who travel on encrypted schedules with simple monikers like cab or car. The youngest of the group is Josh Atherton, 24, reckless and dangerous, carrying a poison gas weapon, a detail that makes this network both sophisticated and terrifying. 6 people, 6 seemingly unrelated lives, but when put together, they create a complete picture of a sophisticated drug empire, where small choices push them from ordinary lives into a dead-end spiral. The investigation began not with a spectacular raid or a sensational arrest, but with small ripples in the heart of a seemingly peaceful city. In early 2022, the City of London police noticed something unusual. Cocaine traffic in the financial district had skyrocketed in just a few months, but no new gangs appeared on their radar. Vague reports from medical facilities, quiet overdoses, and discreet reports from a few law offices and banks raised suspicions. But they were all too vague to be conclusive. The turning point came when investigators stumbled upon a seemingly innocuous notebook. On the cover was a rota, a shift schedule, but inside each page revealed an elaborate pattern: initials, quantity codes, delivery locations hidden behind familiar courier symbols. At the same time, promotional text messages with the logo of Top Gear appeared on the phones of many regular customers, a fictional brand the police had never seen before. The pieces of the puzzle began to fit together, revealing a larger picture, an organized network cleverly hidden in the hustle and bustle of the financial center. And from the moment that notebook appeared on the investigator's desk, the game changed. The packets of cocaine were no longer just white powder. They became a trail that led the police down the cogs of the underground machine that was running smoothly in the heart of London. The drug ring operated like a professional service company, but instead of delivering legal goods, it supplied packets of pure cocaine into every corner of the City of London. The headquarters were not in a luxury office or a secret warehouse, but in an ordinary flat on Cornwall Road, where Nathan Samuels, a gentle-looking middle-aged man, had turned the living room into a command center. On an old wooden table, a thick ledger was constantly updated, meticulously recording the code names of the couriers, their operating hours, the number of packets to be delivered, and detailed notes about regular customers, all arranged neatly like a shift schedule in a convenience store, making the system both efficient and difficult to suspect. Their customers were not street people but office workers, traders, and faces emerging from luxury glass buildings. More than 10,000 phone numbers are stored in the system, each a vital link in the underground market at the heart of the British financial heartland. Promotional messages are sent periodically via WhatsApp bearing the Top Gear logo, two bold white letters on a black background reminiscent of the popular car show, but actually a code word for cocaine. Customers simply text back a few characters, the transaction is confirmed, and within minutes a courier arrives at the meeting point. The delivery men, mostly taxi drivers or freelancers, are given nicknames as simple as cab or car, work in shifts and are paid up to £300 a day, a level of income far beyond the usual wage that makes many turn a blind eye to the legal risks. They use taxis, the least conspicuous form of transport in a crowded city, and private cars, alternating routes to avoid repeating their routines. The whole operation is designed to look as normal as possible. There were no huge stockpiles, no noisy transactions, just a few small packages for individual customers at a time. But with such frequency, an average of 410 packages a week, the cash flowed in at nearly £14,500, flowing steadily into Nathan and Matthew's pockets without anyone suspecting anything. Yet their meticulousness became their fatal weakness. Because the ledger records were so clear, the WhatsApp messages were so time-stamped, and the shift schedules were so neatly kept that the police could only piece together the data to reconstruct the entire machine. The seemingly flawless system had written its own roadmap to its collapse. The initial investigation quickly expanded into a full-scale operation as the City of London police gathered enough evidence to reconstruct the entire network. From WhatsApp messages bearing the Top Gear logo, they traced a web of phone numbers, each knot leading to a different link in the chain. Phone data was extracted and compared with images from hundreds of CCTV cameras across the financial district, combined with ANPR number plate recognition systems to determine the routes of taxis and private cars used by couriers. In parallel, unusual cash transactions were tracked through cash flow analysis, small but repeated deposits and withdrawals that match perfectly with the delivery schedules in the seized ledger. As the full picture emerged, the police launched a massive arrest plan. On the morning of October 14, 2023, in a meticulously timed operation, dozens of agents split into multiple raids at multiple addresses across London. Nathan Samuels had just stepped out of his bedroom on Cornwall Road, the alleged headquarters of the ring, when the door was smashed open and shouts of "Police!" echoed through the hallways. He was subdued on the spot, his hands still shaking as police searched the flat.
Hi Nathan, alright, it's 10 to 8, alright, and you're being arrested on suspicion when you're concerning supply of Class A drugs in the City of London. Okay, you do not have to say anything, but it may harm you to first. You do not mention a question, so we don't like to call it. If you do so, maybe giving it evidence. Do you understand? Yeah.
Finding a thick ledger on the table and a phone containing all the transaction records. At the same time, Matthew Samuels was arrested in Rotherhithe New Road, where he was trying to delete the data from his phone, but was too late before the police stormed in. Michael Redgrave, the taxi driver who acted as a courier, was stopped while driving across Blackfriars Bridge. Police had been monitoring his route for days and chose the safest moment to pull over and arrest him without causing a traffic jam. Aaron Bertow and Martin Gupta, the other two couriers, were arrested at different locations according to the ledger shift. One was arrested as he was leaving his flat in Skinner Street, the other as he was leaving a car park in Barnet. Josh Atherton, the youngest member, caused the most trouble for the police as he was carrying a poison gas weapon. He was stopped at the door of his house in Hemmingford Road, where counter-terrorism officers were helping to ensure the safety of the surrounding residents. The weapon was quickly seized before it could be used. The items seized in the raids included hundreds of packages of cocaine ready for distribution, large sums of cash cleverly hidden in cupboards and sofas, and mobile phones containing encrypted text messages. All were sealed as evidence, making for an almost unassailable case. As the cars carrying the suspects left the scene, the Top Gear network, which had been running smoothly for nearly 2 years, officially disbanded in just a few hours.
Could you jump out of the motor for me, please? Just keep your hands where I can see them at the moment. Just listen to what my colleagues about to say to you.
On 31st of July 2025, the inner London Crown Court was packed, the air tense as 6 members of the Top Gear ring were led in. After nearly 2 years of investigation and months of evidence gathering, from a ledger filled with symbols to thousands of WhatsApp messages bearing the Top Gear logo, the full picture of a sophisticated drug network emerged in court. All 6 chose to plead guilty, an admission that was almost forced by the overwhelming evidence. CCTV footage of taxi routes, phone records matching each delivery, and meticulously analyzed cash flows. The judge presiding over the case described it as a sophisticated, long-running, and far-reaching operation, stressing that Britain's financial heartland had been used as a cocaine transit point for nearly 2 years without anyone realizing. The sentences were handed down in order of their involvement. Nathan Samuels, 57, who led and coordinated the entire operation from his Cornwall Road flat, where the ledgers were stored, shifts were organized, and all transactions were processed, received the maximum sentence of 9 years. His son, Matthew Samuels, 33, who was a cooperator and directly assisted his father in coordinating WhatsApp messages and controlling the customer list, received 3 years and 6 months. Michael Redgrave, 56, an experienced taxi driver who played a key role in transporting the cocaine under the guise of a legitimate taxi service, was jailed for 2 years and 9 months. Aaron Bertau, 43, and Martin Gupta, 38, were both couriers who worked on fixed shifts and were responsible for delivering the cocaine to meeting points in the city center. Bertau was jailed for 3 years, Gupta for 4 years and 3 months, the longer sentences given the number of deliveries and the larger volumes. Finally, Josh Atherton, 24, the youngest and most reckless member, who once carried a gas weapon on his deliveries, was given 2 years probation plus 4 months for the weapons charge. In total, the 6 received 24 years and 6 months in prison. When the final verdict was announced, the courtroom fell into a heavy silence. No protest, no tears, just the resignation of those who knew they had gone too far. The Top Gear case not only ended with lengthy sentences, but also left a shockwave in the financial community and law enforcement in the UK. It exposed an unacceptable truth. In the heart of the economy, considered a symbol of order and transparency, drugs were still quietly infiltrating and consumed on a huge scale. Not by the marginalized, but by the office class, traders, lawyers, bankers, who stepped out of the shiny glass buildings with neat suits and smartphones in hand. The case also showed the dark side of modern technology. WhatsApp, an application designed to protect privacy, became a powerful tool for criminals, but those seemingly harmless data streams turned out to be the decisive evidence that brought down the entire network. This event forced the police to rethink their investigative strategy. Instead of focusing only on the streets, they had to follow the electronic signals that permeated everyday life. The City of London community was also shocked by the sight of father and son standing together in the dock. A chilling reminder that crime is not always a stranger. Sometimes it lives right next to us, blending in with the crowd. And as the court doors closed, the question remained: how many similar networks are still operating out there, hidden in the seemingly perfect rhythms of a city that never sleeps? In the end, the Top Gear case was closed, but its echoes still reverberate in every street of the City of London. This event not only exposed a sophisticated drug ring, but also raised a bigger question. How could a network exist in the heart of the UK's financial center for nearly 2 years without anyone noticing? It revealed a paradox worth pondering. A place considered a symbol of law and order can hide the darkest secrets. And from here, a clear lesson emerged. Technology, which was created to connect people, can also become a double-edged sword when it falls into the hands of those willing to exploit it for their own benefit. This case also makes many people wonder, how many other rings are still operating quietly out there, blending into the seemingly perfect rhythm of a city that never sleeps? If you found this story interesting and want to continue to discover other real-life cases, from sophisticated networks to half-laughing, half-crying arrests, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. Trust me, the following cases will even make you check to see if the old man next door is on WhatsApp.